Okay, students, welcome to another episode of Manhood Academy Podcasting. We're back in the classroom. We have with us Trapezoid Guy, Chris, Jar, Mr. Care Bear Stare, DBP, and BZS. And currently Chris is in limbo with his terrible internet connection. We're going to go over to, who's the new student in here? We got one new student here, right? Hello, new student. Wake up. Who's
Professor, you forgot to mention me.
Oh, who did I forget to mention? Who did I forget to mention?
Me, Professor.
Big L. Your new nickname is Mr. Confusing Guy,
You forgot to...
Mr. Fragmented Sentence Guy. Who else did I forget? Anybody else? Chris.
Yeah, I'm also new.
You're back. How's your terrible internet connection?
I don't know what the problem was, though.
It just keeps cutting in and out, right?
Yeah, I got another call, actually. Maybe that was the reason why it disrupted.
Yeah, put yourself on busy or invisible mode so you can stay in class with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, so we got two new students in here. We got Chris is one of our guys from, where are you from, Chris? Germany. Guten Tag, sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Ja, ich spreche Deutsch.
Sprechen Sie. Okay, let's go sprechen Sie. Where are you at in the, did you post your intro already in the matriculation section?
No, not yet.
Motherfucker, how am I supposed to interview you? I don't have any of your information.
Yeah, I didn't finish the book yet.
Comrade, I want your intro. You don't need to finish the book to post your intro. Okay.
So,
Give me
should I not attend class then, or?
No, it's too late. You're stuck in class now. We got you.
Okay.
What part of the ebook are you on?
What part of Germany I'm from?
No, what part of the ebook? Where are you at? Section 1, Section 2, Section 3?
Page 152.
Are you in the part that says solution or the part that says...
Yeah, I think it's the second part.
Okay, so you're in Section 2. All right, you're almost up to speed. You're almost to the exciting part. How to keep your bitches in check.
Yeah.
That's the shorthand. That's layman's terms. But in full student speak, it would be how to get your expectations met. Applying what you learn in Section 2. How to make it all work.
Okay, the most important part.
Well, I would say that is the most important part, but really all three parts are essential, because if you didn't have part 1, you wouldn't even know you had a problem. You would just think these are just things that are part of life. Feminism, part of life. Being an emasculated guy, part of life. Not being able to get your expectations met with people, part of life. Having trouble attracting women, part of life. Not all part of life. These are the problems that need to be uncovered. Section 2, if you didn't have the solution, Section 3 would be meaningless. If you didn't have the kind of blueprint of how a guy should be behaving, what is a functional guy? What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to be functional? Why should I have authority? If you didn't know any of that, Section 3 wouldn't even matter. So Section 3 it seems more important because that's actually the nuts and bolts of how to actually go about getting your expectations met, how to enforce your expectations, how to reward and punish. Seems like it's more important, but really, if you didn't have the other two sections, number 3 would be meaningless.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Okay, so, we got a chick. What? A chick named Dave? What? How does this work? Let me see what's going on here.
Girl.
First naked girl in class. Hold on, I'm adding a naked girl to class. Bring.
Hibernia.
Oh, it's Hibernia.
Yeah.
Is that a naked girl in class, Hibernia?
Hey,
You get naked for class, Hibernia?
oh shit, I forgot to change my phone.
Yeah, god damn it. Why are you distracting me? We're a Manhood Academy, not Striptease Academy.
Oh, sorry, I changed my photo.
Why do you have that?
Okay, never mind. We're going on. Chris, give me a short rundown of your. How did you find the academy, first of all?
Well, actually, I always wanted to improve my social interactions, especially with girls. So, I mean, girls,
How did you find the
didn't
academy?
really want. I could have, but the girls.
Arnold,
were perfect
Arnold,
for me,
listen to
I
me.
had, troubles.
Listen to me, Arnold. Arnold, listen to me. Listen to my voice. How did you find the academy?
Oh, actually, over the internet.
Over the internet. You just typed in Manhood
Actually,
Academy randomly?
I was surfing through some main rights stuff. Actually.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so you met our
I
MRA.
can't actually remember the exact site.
You met some of our MRA buddies. Or should we say nemesises? Is that nemesi or nemesises? I don't know.
I mean, I've read one or two, one of those pickup artist books, but actually never. I didn't really.
Thank God you didn't get trapped in the pickup artist community or the seduction community.
Yeah, it was kind of too gay, you know.
You don't want to be putting on top hats and eyeliner to attract chicks.
That's crazy.
Stay away from that nonsense.
Maybe he's read mystery.
Maybe he's read Mystery Method or something like that. Well, thankfully you didn't get shipwrecked there, and thankfully you didn't get shipwrecked in the perpetual complaining, whining, emasculated men's rights community. Although there are some great, sources of information there on domestic violence and how things are unfair to men in certain respects, but there's really no concrete way to solve anything over there because
there's no solution. At one point, I also recognized it's like women and men would have to go like separate ways.
Yeah, there's actually a class of people. It's called the MT. Well, they got an acronym, but it stands for Men Going Their Own Way, which is basically like a certain class of men want to just isolate themselves completely.
Male, dude, you heard about that?
What's that?
The Zeta male, he's separate from the Alpha and the Beta.
Yeah, actually, I've read one article about that stuff.
There are all kinds of little niche groups over there in the men's rights movement. Some are interested in completely separating themselves from women, saying, we don't need women, but this is just completely retarded. If these men for, a couple generations just completely separated themselves from women, they would eventually become extinct. So they have no idea what's going on.
It's a crazy movement.
Yes, a lot of crazy things happen when you're emasculated, don't know how to get your expectations met with women. Then you form all kinds of chaotic, delusional theories to try to address that. Mainly, it's a lot of guys complaining about things they can't solve. Like, women are mistreating me. Women make me pay for the first date. Women demand money from me in relationships. Women divorce me and take my kids. Women do this. Women do that. If you can't do anything about it, there's no point in complaining about it. It's like having a friend go with you and complaining about his tests. Oh, my tests are so hard. My work is so tough. My work is so tough. But he's the one who chose it. He's not studying. He's not changing classes. He's not getting tutoring, or he's not talking to the boss. He's not choosing a job he likes. He's in control, but he doesn't know how to do anything about it. He just knows how to complain. So that's basically what the MRA movement, the men's rights movement, boils down to, is guys who are complaining. They know there's a problem. That's the good news. They at least recognize there's inequalities, but they have no way to address them practically. So it ends up being a whining movement. Men whining.
Yeah, they don't oppose feminism.
There we go.
They do. Some of them do in theory. Like, they'd actually say that feminism is the problem, but it's so few and far between. But the general vibe,
they don't know how to fight it.
Oh, there's another problem. There's a certain group, which is, I would say, would maybe be the majority, who are fighting for quote quote equality, equal rights, when they don't realize that men and women aren't meant to be equal in their function. Yes, they're equal as in worth as human beings. You need men just as much as you need women, but you don't need them to do the same function. For instance, you're not supposed to be having kids. You don't have a womb. But in their mind, everything should be about equality. Everybody should have equal access to jobs, equal access to, etc. This is not to say that women can't work, but if women were out of the economy and men were in the economy, in the major part of the economy, men would have the money that women want to be taken care of, So, a lot of women complain, well, men can't take care of me. I want to take care of myself. I want to have my own job, be strong and independent. But yet, on the other hand, their natural female instinct is to be taken care of by a man. That's why they always want the man to pay for the dates and, to pull out the chairs and protect them.
That's why they're hypocrites, basically.
Exactly. So they don't realize that there's a problem with how they see things with their view of equality. They want all the functions that a man and a woman performs to be equal. And this, of course, never works. Ego. It's like saying, I want my body to have all the same functions as like a hand. I want my eyes to work like a hand. I want my feet to work like a hand. This is nonsense. Your body parts are different in function. They're complementary. You need your hands to grab things. You need your feet to move, your eyes to see things, your brain to think about where you're going. All these work in tandem. They work and complement each other so that they all fulfill one function together. But if you have your hand saying, oh, I want to be just as equal as the eye, so I want to be able to see, well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to either replace the eye's function, negating it completely and making the eye useless, or you're going to neglect your own function as the hand. You should be grabbing things, and if nobody's grabbing things, you can't get anything done because you're not fulfilling your role. So when women are trying to fulfill men's roles, men don't have there's no role for men to fulfill, and they're also neglecting their own female role. If there's no female role being performed, you have a shortage, either on one side or the other.
And that's why you hear women complaining about guys these days so much. It's just guys do not know how to manage their expectations, so they just kind of avoid women and use them for sex whenever they can.
Yes.
That's why you get all these, whining bitches saying, why won't any guys date me? Nobody wants to take me out.
The problem is they're shooting themselves in the foot. They're kind of contributing to that situation of guys not wanting to date them for.
I always thought that too. I thought it was very, very weird how chicks, they wanted a relationship, but they wanted to dress, scantily clad. where they wanted to show off their bodies and like get guys' attention. They didn't realize that they were fucking it up for other women who want relationships.
Yes, so they're playing. Women aren't bright enough to see this big picture.
And they
Thinking,
give,
what?
what?
Who is the interrupter?
Not to mention that they give. Oh,
Hello.
oh shit!
What? Big L, speak up.
That was me. That was me, Professor.
Go ahead.
That was me, Professor.
I know. Go ahead.
Not to mention that those same.
Go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to say that. Not to mention those same women give guys shit for looking at them, even though they just want to cry out and say, "Look at my body! Look at my body!"
Yeah. So when you put women in charge of relationships, you have all kinds of hypocrisy and also dysfunctional directions for the relationship. And just like a perfect example you just gave, women want the attention, but then they complain about the attention they get. So women don't even know how to manage their own lives, and now they want to go ahead and be they want to be equals and manage the relationship. This is like saying a kid saying, "Hey dad, I realize you're the dad and you're in charge, but I want to be the dad too. I want to be in charge of me," when the kid isn't even qualified to run his own life. So this is the kind of situation you have today. So you found us through Chris, back to Chris.
Yeah.
You found us through the internet on some MRI site or some link on there. And then you came here and, well, you know what? We're going to wait for your intro. I think we got a little we got a little flavor of Chris. Who's the other new guy in class? New guy, wake up.
We covered all the new guys.
No, there's one other new guy, I think. Is there a BZS?
Well, oh yeah. Didn't we read his intro already?
I don't know. BZS, are you there?
Yeah.
Are you a new guy? Did we talk to you last time?
Yeah, I covered my intro. I spent like whole 10 minutes reading my huge intro.
Gotcha. Okay, so
yeah.
We will go ahead and start in the podcasting topics then. Let me get over there. Everybody who just joined, make sure your speaker is clicked off on the chat room so we don't hear any chat pops. And you're on the podcasting topics section in the film and lecture section. We're in the very first page of podcasting topics. Okay, number 1 on the top page. Failure to deal with opposing expectations equals failure to build relationships. Failure to address the expectations of others, either reciprocating, answering, acknowledging comments equals a failure to build relationships. Anybody know why I posted this?
Well, I know you posted the second one.
I know I posted the second one. What did I mean with the first one?
Hmm.
Failure to deal with opposing expectations equals failure to build relationships. Why is that a problem? You would think, let's see, who's been in class? Jar. Jar. Why would it be a problem? If you don't deal with opposing expectations, why would this create to your failure to build relationships?
Well, if you're not on the same page as the person that you're building a relationship with, then you're not heading in the right direction. You're not getting needs met if they have opposing expectations.
Right.
So in order to get the needs met, you guys need to be on the same page, which means you need to be following your expectations.
You need to be, as the guy, you need to be leading the relationship. So that means one of your expectations is you're in charge. Mm-hmm. A lot of girls today are going to compete with that expectation. They want to be in charge, or they want to be co-pilot. They want to have 50% say. Well, the problem is, if they're in charge too, you don't have a relationship. You have a competition. So you're not building a relationship. You're contributing to a competition. And this is the same. I was just talking to a girl last night who wanted to be in charge. She wanted to compete with me. So this is if we went down that route and I agreed with her expectation and I didn't address that competing expectation, I just, like most guys, I swept it under the rug. Like, oh, okay, I'm going to get sex or I'm going to get a girlfriend, so I might as well just let her think let her be half in charge and, just give her half the reins to the relationship. I'm eventually creating a relationship that is not eventually, it is a competition, but I am contributing to the downfall of that relationship. That's not going to be a very functional relationship, especially from the start. So if you're not dealing with opposing expectations, especially women who have dysfunctional expectations, or even your friends, guy friends, if you have a relationship and they got opposing expectations that you're not dealing with, you're just kind of like tolerating them or sweeping them under the rug, thinking, well, you know what, if I don't deal with this area, everything's fine, 50% of the time, this other 50% of the time we have problems, and if I just kind of don't deal with it or sweep it under the rug, the relationship will keep going. That's not how relationships work. They either get better or worse. They never stay the same. So if you're not dealing with opposing expectations, that relationship, you may not perceive it at the time, but it's slowly eroding. It's slowly going downhill. Eventually, there's going to be one straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak, and that relationship will go into the toilet.
I have a question, Antoine.
Yes, sir.
This is Jar.
Jar, what's up?
So that girl that you're talking to,
yes,
she straight up came to you and said, hey, look, I want to help lead, or like I want to make decisions, I want to lead, or
Well, no,
she just-
we're initially flirting, and
Right.
she's girls in the beginning, they like to pretend they're strong and independent and tough
Yeah.
guys. So she's pulling this this tough guy attitude, and I just told her flat out that that tough guy attitude's a turnoff. I like it when you're when you're tender and you're warm and you're vulnerable and soft like a girl should be. So now we have a competing expectation because she's trained to think just the opposite, that she should be this tough chick. So now we have a problem of incentive because that's my expectation, but I haven't given her enough incentive to follow my expectation yet. I haven't met her needs yet. So to get that expectation met in the beginning of a relationship, especially when I just met this girl, I'm just talking to her, it's going to be very difficult. So I need to give her enough incentive to start enforcing my expectations. So
a lot of the reason I hesitate sometimes and try to manage expectations is because I know that I haven't given the incentive.
yes.
And I find that to be a big roadblock when I'm
Well,
trying to...
sometimes it works two ways. Sometimes you can give a girl incentive. You could share your life with her, and that's very stimulating for her. You could talk to her about what you're interested in and how she affects you. These things are all validating and very conducive to forming a relationship. Sharing your reactions to everything around you, bringing her into your experience. This is a very attractive thing to do. So this is going to give her some incentive. On the other hand, you enforcing your expectations, you setting boundaries on the relationship and limitations on her is also attractive. Yeah. Although she may not even voice it so directly. She's not going to say, oh, because you set boundaries on me, I'm attracted to you. No. Sometimes she'll even argue with you, and it'll seem like, oh, this isn't working. She hates me. She's arguing with me. She's telling me this is wrong. But because she's a woman, and she has a natural function, a natural response to a guy who's in charge, there is attraction. So put it this way. You have a better chance with a girl who hates you than with a girl who is indifferent towards you. For instance, if a girl says, oh, you frustrate me, or you make me so mad, she has a better chance of being attracted to you than a girl who's like, oh, he's a nice guy. He's, and she's indifferent towards you. She has a much higher chance of being attracted to you if you're the type of guy who frustrates her, who doesn't give her way. So even in the beginning of a relationship where you're just meeting a girl and you're already saying, I like this, I don't like this, you're setting boundaries or setting limitations, letting her know you have expectations. That is an attractive thing. Even if she is somewhat combative or she's competing with you in the beginning or she's telling you, no, that's not the way it is.
So being nice is like the biggest mistake you can make?
This is not to say you got to be careful here when you say being nice. A lot of people mean so many different things when they say being nice. Generally, it's give the girl her way. Whatever the girl says, just do it. That is people's general definition of being nice. Being nice, this doesn't mean you have to punch a girl in the face and tell her, look, I'm in charge. No. You can be very polite in your mannerisms. You can be very complimentary in the way you express how you feel about her and how she makes you feel. Expressing your reactions to her. This is all very good. This falls under the category of being nice. But this doesn't mean being a pushover. If I say, hey, Chris, come over to my house and have a hot dog. I don't know you. You're a stranger. I think you're a swell guy.
It would be too much.
No, that's me being nice. I'm offering something to a stranger. You don't deserve it. It's out of the, the goodness of my heart, so to speak, or I want to be buddies with you. So I'm like, hey, come on over, have a hot dog, right? Not, never mind. I was thinking something else. Come on over and have a hot dog. Have a Frankfurter with me. No, so you come on over for a hot dog. I'm being nice, but let's say you come in my house and I have a rule. I don't like shoes on in my house. I like you to take off my shoes. And you're like, oh, I'm going to come in here with my shoes and walk around. And I say, hey, Chris, take your shoes off. See, I'm nice because I'm giving you the hot dog. I'm generous. I'm meeting your need. I'm feeding you. I'm, offering companionship. I'm meeting your social needs, but I have limitations. I have restrictions. My expectation or my niceness, so to speak, still comes with my expectations as a man.
So you actually require some respect.
Yes. So I require you. So that means I require you to fear my authority. Now, this won't make sense until you get into the heart of section 2. So it's not terror. There's a difference between being terrorized by my authority, like you're nervous when I walk in the room and you're worried about me, going to punch you. That's terror. But fear is a good thing. Like, for instance, you can go hike on a mountain and have a great time, but you're going to be very careful when you're walking around the edges, when there's cliffs and things. You're going to be very fearful for your life because you don't want to die. So you respect the mountain. You fear the mountain. You fear its authority. But you have a good time with it. You have a stable relationship while you're hiking. You're enjoying the hike because, as long as you don't violate gravity, you don't try to walk along the edge and fuck around near some high places, you'll be fine. Your relationship with the mountain will be stable. So the same with me. You can have a good time with me. You can eat my hot dogs. You can come into my house, share my hospitality, but you shouldn't be violating my house rules. For instance, you shouldn't be walking around with your shoes on. That's violating my authority. Then I'm going to come down. I'm going to punish you. I'm going to enforce my expectation. I'm going to say, hey, Chris, if you're going to walk around in my house with your shoes on, that means you're being disrespectful towards me. You're not fearing my authority. I'm going to kick you out of my house. See, now I just punished you. I enforced my expectation. So there's no problem with being nice to a girl. Saying, oh, I love the way you smile, you laugh like that. See, that makes me think, oh, I want to hug this girl. She's so tender. She's so soft. She's so sweet. And then she's like, okay, buy me dinner or do this for me, or I expect you to do this or this or this. And you say, look, you're not in charge of me. I'm in charge. Don't try to take advantage of my generosity. Don't try to take advantage of me doing something nice for you.
Yeah, that's what many do.
Yes. Many equate being nice with just saying, okay, whatever she says, you just listen to it, you follow it, you obey it. That is not being nice. That is being stupid. So when they talk about the nice guy, quote, quote, nice guy, they don't really mean just the guy who is doing something, good to you or doing something that is meeting your needs. It means a guy who is maybe meeting your needs or maybe not meeting your needs, but essentially he has no limits. He has no expectations.
Yeah, he's like worshipping the other person.
Yes, you could violate his authority. You could violate his expectations. You could punch him in the face. You could slap him. You could take his money. You could walk all over his furniture with your shoes. You could spit on him and it'll be like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because he has no expectations. Since he has no expectations, nobody respects anything he says. He could say, you know what, we should go here. And you go, no. I talked this, there's a podcast I think I posted where this one girl was telling me about her boyfriend. And he's like, oh, I want to go to San Diego. Let's go to San Diego. And because he's such a puss, she'll just intentionally say no. And he'll say, but why?
Cut off sex from him for 3
Yeah,
months?
she cut off sex for him for 3 months. So she trained him, and now, she'll just say no just because she can, not because she has a reason. And he'll ask, what's the reason? Why can't we go to San Diego? She won't even justify herself with a reason. That's how little she fears his authority. That's how willing she is to violate his expectations. Because he doesn't enforce his expectations.
Okay, yeah, I get your point.
Okay. So next one is failure to address the expectations of others. Okay, so if you have others posting in the forum, they're posting their expression posts, EM posts, making student comments and questions, and you don't reciprocate. You don't answer them back. You don't post another comment to their post. What's the problem with that?
You're not contributing to the relationship. You're not moving it forward.
You're not taking care of the relationship. You're not building the relationship. You're not meeting their social needs. So for instance, if people are talking, if I'm talking right now, am I talking just to hear myself talk?
No.
I know. I'm talking to hear DBP say no, to answer me back.
No.
No. See his response when I said, am I talking to hear myself talk? And then DBP was good. He said, your mom is responding when I don't want her to respond.
Can you mute the microphone?
Yeah.
Big
He's
L.
not going to learn the hard way this
Big
time.
L, if your mom's talking, cover the microphone. Okay, the point is, I want somebody to respond. When I'm asking a question, I want somebody to respond. That meets my social need. So when I say, am I talking just to hear myself talk? And DBP says, no, he's meeting my social need. He's meeting my expectation. I'm expecting somebody to answer me, and DBP is meeting my expectation. So he's meeting my needs. So now he's building a relationship with the professor, whereas the other students are silent and quiet and don't say anything on the forum and don't write anything and don't respond to other students. They are not building a relationship. A lot of you guys are trying to learn how to attract women, but you can't even attract men. You need to have a guy see you or see your name on the forum or see you posting and go, oh, that's a post I want to read. Oh, that's a guy I want to talk to in the chat room. If you can't generate that with a fellow student, good fucking luck trying to generate that with a girl who has way more expectations out of you. Guys are way more forgiving in a relationship. So if you can't get a guy attracted, good luck getting a girl attracted. You need to practice. This is why you're here, to practice learning how to form relationships with people. That means you need to start meeting the other person's needs in the relationship. And one of the major needs is responding to them. So if people are posting in the forum and you like an expression post, I know a lot of you guys read expression posts and you think to yourselves while you're reading it, oh, this is a cool part here. I like this, or this makes me think of this. So you're responding in your head, but physically you don't type a response. You are fucking up the relationship with that other student. Even new students, you'll notice Mr. Care Bear greets new students when they come in. He's a new student himself. He's not a veteran here, but he says, hey, welcome to Manhood Academy. Here's where you should start. He's already directing their behavior. He's telling them where they should start in the orientation section. Be sure to read this. Be sure to do the podcast, etc. He's directing their behavior. He's meeting their social needs. He's doing an excellent job of building up relationships. You'll notice that DKO used to never post responses to other students' posts. Torero, same thing. Never posted responses to other students' posts. Now they're posting like madmen in other people's threads. This is awesome. This is them taking the initiative to form relationships. If you're a guy who can take an initiative to form a relationship with a stranger, you're a very valuable guy. You're a very functional guy. You notice as an instructor, I didn't just ignore the new student in class, the new students, Chris and BZS. Imagine if I just started talking. Where would they jump in? Would they feel welcomed? Would they know what to do? Would they know how to behave in class?
No, they wouldn't.
I need to form a relationship.
Actually recognize.
Not at all.
Right. So I need to form a relationship with Chris. I need to start interacting with him. I need to meet his needs. I need to welcome him. I need to reach out to initiate the relationship. You think as a new student, especially a guy who is not good with social interaction, is going to initiate with a professor? Hi, I'm new student Chris, and here's my story, and here's how I found the academy. You think that's going to happen with a new student? No. It's going to require me to initiate the relationship with him. There's no cause for me to just reach out, but I need to make the cause. I need to make the reason, even if I have to manufacture the reason. So let's say you don't know Chris. You're a new student. You're BZS. You just joined yesterday, right? BZS.
Right.
Okay, so you're like, hey, I don't know Chris. Why the fuck should I talk to him? You know why?
Why?
Because you're at Manhood Academy. You're learning how to form relationships. It's almost a requirement for you to talk to Chris. You don't know a fucking thing about Chris. What about Hibernia with his naked picture? You don't know anything about him either. Well, now he's got a little shack picture, which is an improvement. But you don't know anything about him. Guess what? That means you need to start initiating the relationship. So how would you talk to Hibernia? You don't know anything about him.
Just find one of his posts and kind of give feedback, or
No, Hibernia's in the classroom right now.
just kind of give a shout out and say hi.
You're talking to me.
Then I don't know.
Well, let's find out. Hey, Hibernia.
How you doing?
Hi, it's Professor Plum.
Hello, Professor Plum. This is Hibernia.
Okay, so I just started very simple. Hi, I'm greeting him, right? Introducing myself.
That was pretty lame.
That's just
How are
starting
you doing
off.
today, Professor Plum?
No sophisticated tactics. No. Hey, so Hibernia, I noticed you had a house there. It's interesting. That reminds me of a 19th century house that I once saw in a museum. Hey, I wonder if we have the same museum interest. Maybe we could go to a museum. We're not doing any secret techniques here. This is very simple. I'm introducing myself. Hey, Hibernia. I know. Now, what do I have to talk to about Hibernia? I don't know him. I'm a new student in class. I'm new student BZS. So I just look and react to what he is presenting to me. So far, he's presented to me this picture of the shack. I say, hey, that's an interesting picture of shack. What the hell is that? It looks like something in a forest.
Right.
And Hibernia says,
That's when I was on holidays in the Philippines.
Okay.
I took a picture of that.
now,
That shack was in the middle of the bay.
I hear Hibernia has an accent. Oh, I like your accent. Right? I'm reacting to it. I'm doing my lucky.
He's an Irishman.
Yeah, he's an Irishman, so I'm doing my Lucky Charms impersonation. Frosted Lucky Charms, magically delicious.
Yeah, we can take him out for a pint, you know?
So the point is, I'm sharing what I'm reacting. When I hear that voice, I think of the Frosted Lucky Charms commercial. And so I'm sharing that reaction with him. Frosted Lucky Charms are magically delicious. Now see that? I'm bringing him into my experience. By sharing my reaction with him, I'm bringing him into what it's like to be me, to see him through my eyes. This is a very stimulating thing for a relationship. So now he's like, oh yeah, I'm Irish. I'm from here and there. Let's say he didn't have an accent. So I didn't have anything to work with. And he just said, this picture I have on my profile here is just a picture that has to do with some picture I found on the internet. Nothing there. Now what? We're stuck. What do we do?
Direct him.
I gotta direct him.
Or out of him.
I want him to be my buddy, but I have nothing to say, so I need to start directing his behavior. Instead of reacting to what he says, or sharing my reactions, I need to take the initiative. I need to step forward and direct his behavior to get him to meet my expectations. So my expectation is to form a friendship with him. Well, what do I want out of a friend? That's my expectation. I want a buddy who can talk. I want a buddy who can play sports. I want a buddy who has things that they share with me. I want a buddy who's open. I want a buddy who's going to share his life with me. I want a buddy who, fill in the blank. So with Hibernia, let's say we're going to be buddies. Maybe I like to go out to the pub. Hey, Hibernia, do you drink beer?
Yeah. I
No,
do, yeah.
you don't. You're an alcoholic and you're on the wagon.
Oh, yeah, I'm actually, yeah. Now that you mention it.
Yeah.
I drink beer, yeah.
No,
Okay.
you're an alcoholic. You're on the wagon.
Okay, I'm an alcoholic and I'm on the wagon.
Oh, that's too bad. I like to drink beer. So, how did you get on the wagon? Now, see, I'm reacting to any even if he doesn't agree with my expectation to go out to the pub, he's an alcoholic, he's on the wagon, he doesn't drink anymore. I could still react to what he said. I could still share my reaction with him. Okay, so that's shut down, right? No pub drinking. Well, what else how do I know how to have a common ground with him? I don't know how to form the relationship. I got to look at my needs. What are my needs? My need is for companionship. For talking about our life, right? So if I know what my needs are, I automatically know what Hibernia's needs are without even having to ask him. I know I need companionship as a human being. Therefore, I know what about Hibernia?
He needs companionship as
Yes, he needs a buddy to talk to. So now I just got to find out what we can talk about. Hibernia,
Yes.
you like Pokemon?
Do I like what?
Do you like Pokemon?
That cartoon character?
Yes.
No, I hate Pokemon.
Yeah, fuck. I love
Right
Pokemon. That's the right answer. No, we don't have any Pokemon in common. Well, fuck. Hibernia, you like cars? You like cars?
I went to one of those Pokemon films with my son.
Who cares? Do you like cars?
Sorry, okay, alright. Yeah, I like cars, yeah.
No, you hate cars.
Okay, I hate cars.
I love cars. I like when you're driving in like a super fast Ferrari and you're feeling the wind in your hair. It's so exciting. See, even if Hibernia doesn't like the things I like, I can still share my reactions to what I'm doing or why I like them. That makes it inviting. You ever been with a friend who likes something you hate, like country music? Let's say you never listen to country music, right? And your buddy is in the car listening to country music. Well, if your buddy's an attractive person, meaning he knows how to convey his experience, he knows how to convey his reactions to things, he can tell you, look, I know you hate country music, but I like the fact that country music is very simple. A lot of songs have layers and subtlety and they try to be too hip. But country music is very straightforward. It's like, see the song, even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Right? It's very simple. It's saying, even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you. It's a very simple statement. It's almost a profound statement. A lot of songs are saying the same thing in like complex layered textures. But this song, it's so simple and it has this like simple enchanting melody. It makes you like close your eyes and think of like, oh, peaceful time. It's like almost like you're hippie, but you're not really a hippie. You're like a tough guy who could punch a horse in the mouth and still be like a cowboy. So that's why I like this country music. See, now I've talked about something that Hibernia hates. He hates country music. But because I've shared my reaction, what I get out of the country music, now I've made it inviting. Now I've made it attractive. Something he hates, I've made it attractive. So Hibernia,
Yes.
I don't have anything to talk with you about. This is so sad. I wanted to get to know you. I wanted to be your buddy. I wanted to find out about your life. I wanted to find out about your brothers and sisters, all that good stuff. I wanted to have a nice conversation with you.
Okay.
Okay, so see, he's not meeting my expectation. He's giving me an okay. So now, let's say I wanted to know about what he thought of me. I would have to direct his behavior, which means I would have to ask him questions, or I would have to lead him. Hibernia, I notice you like saying one-word answers. Okay, yeah, no, right? I want to hear a little bit more about you. So tell me about why you only say okay. Are you a shy guy, or are you just nervous? Why do you only say okay? What are the thoughts going on in your head around that?
Well, I'm not sure because of because we're on this Skype call.
Right, because Professor Plum is being confusing.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I'm trying to direct your behavior to meet my expectations. This is how we start forming a relationship with someone we don't even know. How long have I known Chris? About 5 minutes?
20.
20? I already have a better relationship with him than his entire family. No, I don't. But I'm trying to make the point that if I really wanted to know Chris, I could have a really good relationship with him, more so than even his very close friends. Because his close friends might have expectations, but they're very passive with their expectations. They want to know Chris, but they're waiting for Chris to come out while they're playing sports, or while they're talking about movies, or while they're talking about girls. They're hoping Chris will volunteer information. Whereas my expectations are higher than his friends. I will expect that information. So I will demand it. I will ask for it. I will reciprocate his comments. I will share my life, and that'll prompt him to be more open to sharing his life. So I'm going to take the initiative to share that relationship, or to start that relationship. So if I really wanted to, I could have a better relationship with Chris than probably some of the friends he's known for years, within like a week or a month.
So it's like a matter of be open and like letting others know.
Be open means nothing. Everybody says be open. Be open. What does that mean? You have to know how to be open, what it means to be open, how to direct a conversation. That's when you get to part 3.
You have to make the person happy. That's
Okay.
incentive.
Yes. They have to want to open to you. If I just say, hey, tell me about your life. If I just came up to you on the street, that was the first time we talked, you and me. I said, tell me about your life. What would you tell me? What does that mean? There's so many things in your life. There's so many thoughts, feelings, and plus you're on the spot. There's students here. There's so many things in the way of telling me about your life. Right now, there's a lot of students. What if you feel stupid? What if you like cats, but you don't want to tell me you like cats in front of 12 other guys? Well, I'd have to make you feel more comfortable about talking about your cats. Guess what I like? Chris?
Dogs.
Chris, guess what I like? Cats. I love little furry cats cuddling up with them on the bed.
Other stuff.
What?
Something else?
No, I love cats. Just cuddling up with furry little cats on the bed. Petting them.
Okay.
Meowing with them. When they meow, I meow back. Meow, meow. Little kitty cat. Little kitty cat. Right?
You're weird.
No, you're weird for not liking my cats.
Okay.
The point is, I am directing the expectations. I know some people here will go, oh, Professor Plum's fucking gay, or that's weird, or that's bizarre behavior. But because I know how to...
It's fine.
No, the point... I'm not telling you to tell me it's fine. The point is, I know it's fine. I don't need your permission to tell me it's fine. That's the difference between you and me. I know how to manage the expectations of the class. Some people I know think it's gay. Some people I know think it's weird. But because I know how to manage my expectations with them, I know how to reward them for supporting me, and I know how to punish them if they have an opposing view. So, because I know this, it's okay. It's perfectly fine for me to talk about cats, even though I hate cats.
So you actually have more than one.
More than one what?
A cat?
I don't have any cats. I'm just giving you. I was kidding
okay,
around.
So that's just
Yes, I was playing around.
Okay.
But because even if I did have cats, the point is I know how to manage the expectations of the other people I'm talking to, the other people in the room. So it's okay for me to be vulnerable in front of them or to share my life with them, to be candid with them. And this in turn encourages you to be candid with me. So if I'm talking about cats and puppies, you're like, oh, it's perfectly fine. Right? Let's say you started talking about your cats and Jar chimed in and said, cats are fags. You're a fag for liking cats. So I said, hey, do you like cats, Chris? And you said, Chris?
Yeah, maybe yes.
No, you love fuzzy cats.
So there's like
Chris,
a thing
do you like
both
Chris?
share, so
Chris, pay
that's
attention.
like basic for relationship.
Arnold, pay attention. You like cats. You like
I love-
fuzzy little cats. Tell me you love
So I
fuzzy
say I
little
love
cats. Arnold, tell me you love fuzzy little cats.
Who are you talking to?
Chris,
Yeah.
not ya. Tell me you love fuzzy little cats.
So,
Come on, Arnold, tell me.
Chris, just tell me
yeah,
about cats.
let's be cats.
And then Jar says,
Cats are fags, and you're a fag. For
okay,
liking cats.
see, Jar has just insulted you. Jar has violated my expectation. I want this to be a comfortable environment for you to tell me about your cats, right? But Jar has violated my expectation, and he's also punished you with ridicule, with scolding, right? So now you don't want to talk about cats anymore. You want to meet Jar's expectation to not talk about cats. But guess what? Because I know how to manage my expectations are important to me. All I need to do is get rid of Jar's expectation and reassert my expectation. So I'd say, Jar, stop being a faggot. Stop insulting new students. If you insult a new student again, I'm kicking you out of class. Do you hear me? And then Jar says,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for insulting you about your cats, right? Now I've managed the expectations and I've asserted my expectation. So now we've gotten rid of Jar's expectation and now my expectation is the only one left. And now we go back to talking about your little fuzzy cats. So this is how to manage your expectations. But this is all part of initiating a conversation with a stranger. So as students, to build relationships here, even if you're a new student, there's no excuse. You could still, as you're reading the ebook, practice the concepts. You could see other students initiating. You could see, here's an opportunity for me to practice building a relationship. Guaranteed, you will fuck up. You will offend another student. You will screw up your relationship with that student. Boggs, the worst student at Manhood Academy, is notorious for fucking up his relationships with other students. He'll have a good time with the students. He's great at sharing his experience, his reactions to his experience. He's great in attracting you in that way, meeting your social need. But, unfortunately, he's also great at fucking up. He's great at offending you. He's great at being a hypocrite. He's great at making dysfunctional demands. So he's going to fuck up and offend you. He's going to break the relationship. He's going to cause the relationship problems. He's going to cause it to erode. He's going to compete with you in the relationship. So he's going to make all kinds of mistakes, and he has made mistakes. But he's failing forward. He's learning how to apologize, etc. Oh, speaking of Boggs, speaking of the devil, he's on. I wonder if he's going to join class. Let's see if he's going to join class. Let me check. Boggles.
Hey, Plum.
Are you at work or are you joining class?
Joining class, I just woke up.
Motherfucker.
I forgot, it's like, oh shit, it's like 11 o'clock, what the heck?
We were just talking about you.
Talking about you.
You just showed up right as our example. I give an example. We were talking about relationships and fucking up relationships.
Yeah.
And so naturally,
That's me.
your name came up. So you offend students. You fuck up with them. You have dysfunctional expectations. So what do you have to do to rectify the relationship?
Apologize.
That's the thing we just wrote about. Apologizing. So this means not justifying yourself. This is the opposite of justifying yourself. Opposite of justification is an apology. So you just say, look, I'm wrong. I want to repair the relationship. I'm sorry I did this. I'm sorry I was an asshole. I'm sorry I'm making demands that you're not able to meet. I'm sorry I'm being a hypocrite here. I'm sorry I'm causing you problems in the relationship. I'm sorry I'm not meeting your relationship needs. I'm sorry I'm not, you don't have to say it in that many, in those explicit ebook terms, but, you could simply apologize. I'm sorry I took your thing. I'm sorry I hit you that time. I'm sorry I yelled at you. I'm sorry I criticized you. Whatever it takes to address the offense you created, the problem you created. This is to repair the relationship and move forward in the relationship. So again, giving a person enough incentive. Maybe they hate you. Let's say, Boggles, you apologize to DBP for taking his hot dog. So you got to apologize to him now.
Hey, DBP, sorry to take your hot dog.
And DBP is a cruel-hearted bastard. He says, "Fuck off, Boggles. You took it. Too bad. Not talking anymore." Tell him, DBP.
Fuck off, Boggles. You took my fucking hot dog. Go away. I never want to speak to you again.
Okay. What should Boggles do at this point?
Sorry, man. Won't do it again.
No, sorry doesn't work. What should he do?
I'll buy you another hot dog.
What's the problem? What's the problem here? Why isn't DBP going into the...
Incentive?
Wait. Who said that?
It's Chris.
Who gave the answer? Somebody gave the answer.
Yeah, it was Chris.
Chris, give the answer.
Dude, I'm impressed.
What did you say, Chris?
He needs to give an incentive.
Yes, he needs to give DVP an incentive. So tomorrow, Boggs is going to buy him a hot dog.
Well, that's what I said. I'll buy him a hot dog.
Yeah, but he doesn't want your hot dog today, so you're going to buy it anyway. And tomorrow you give him the hot dog, and then DVP says...
Sweet, thanks, dude. Let's be friends again.
No, DVP says fuck off.
And he throws my hot dog away.
DVP, tell him fuck off, your hot dog can't buy my love.
Fuck off, your hot dog can't buy my love.
So what does DVP need to do? What does Boggles need to do now?
Ideally, I would be pissed off by now, but I should...
What should he be doing if he actually had a brain in his head? What should he be doing right now? He just got rejected a second time.
Another hot dog. Hey,
Yes! More incentive. Maybe he needs to talk to DVP. Hey, bro, I'm going to this concert. I want you to come with me. DVP says...
Fuck off. No.
Fuck off, right? Okay, the next day, Boggles buys him another hot dog, gives him another hot dog. DVP says, what?
Fuck you.
Fuck you. That's 2 hot dogs, not enough, right? Then the next day, Boggles has buddies over. He says, hey, DVP, I want you to come to this party I'm throwing. It's going to be a lot of fun. And DVP says...
Fuck you.
No, DVP says, my heart is softening with all this incentive you're giving me. Finally, okay, I'll give you another chance. And then, boom, they're buddies again. Why are they buddies again?
I'm thinking about that. Is that
Shut up. Why are they buddies again?
Incentive.
He's increased the incentive. So now DVP initially is rejecting his offers to reconcile the relationship. But because Boggles has given him enough incentive, they're back together again. Not always the case. DBP may be a totally dysfunctional guy and be like revenge bent. And no, one mini offense. Well, guess what? Boggles doesn't need that type of person in a relationship. He doesn't need to be in a relationship with a guy who can't forgive him for something.
Okay, I had a question. What about the girl? It seems like if you're...
Boggles.
Yeah.
Relax. We're staying on one example at a time. So the point is, in the relationship, Boggles needs to give the other person incentive to form that relationship, whether it be to fix a relationship where he offended somebody or to start a relationship. Let's say he talks to DVP and this is the first time he's talked to him. He says, DVP, I want to be your buddy. I want to hang out with you. DVP says, no, I don't know you. What does it require? More incentive. He's got to share more of his life with DVP first. He's got to maybe take him out to for another hot dog or a hot dog. Or he's got to share more about his time in India. He's got to get him to open up, make him feel comfortable. So he hasn't given DPP enough incentive. As a new student here, you shouldn't be thwarted if you make an initial attempt to contact a student and they don't respond. What's required? Incentive. They may be shy fucks. You may say, hey, buddy, how's it going? And they're like, oh, I don't know what to say. Right? Yeah. They don't even respond. They're too shy. They're too worried about what you think of them. They're worried about saying something stupid. Yeah, so what's required?
Doesn't see the bigger picture.
More volunteering of yourself, more sharing of your reactions, more incentive.
Yeah.
This is the call to you guys to start initiating relationships with the other students. Start initiating relationships with students you don't know. Start practicing giving people incentives to meet your expectations. Incentives come in both forms, both punishments and rewards. You need to practice both. Somebody's violating your expectations, let them know. If somebody's meeting your expectations, reward them. Reward them. Encourage them to keep meeting your expectations. That's why you reward them. If somebody's saying, hey, I love cats, and I'm talking to them, and I wanted them to open up about their cats, and then they keep talking about it, and I say, Chris, I love when you talk about cats. See, that's cool. I like that. I'm rewarding him. I'm praising him. I'm encouraging him to keep meeting my expectations. So next time we meet, and I come over to Chris's house, I say, Chris, are you there? What's he going to do when he first opens the door?
How's your cat?
Yes, he's going to ask me about cat. Hey, I got a new cat. Look, he's so fuzzy and cute. See, he's encouraged to keep meeting my expectation because I gave him enough incentive.
And something to share.
Yes. All right, next topic. God, I was trying to get through all these in like 2 seconds. Like this is supposed to be a 2-second one. Damn it. Every time I think we're going to cover 20 topics in like 2 minutes, it ends up being one topic in 2 hours.
We go like on one tangent. We go off on one example for like 30 minutes.
Damn it. I wish I could stop talking.
Mr. I Care.
Mr. I Care? Mr. I Care Bear?
Mr. Care Bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
One at a time.
We're on DAC Attack. We're on DAC Attack right now. And
your arch enemy.
DAC Attack, arch enemy. All right, let's see here. Oh, let's see. This has been mentioned in podcast. Sounds like you need to find one. Listen to the podcast. I'm confused. That's not the podcast I'm referring to. Do you even know why we contact? I think we actually covered this. Didn't we cover this in the last podcast? Or one of the other podcasts? I think we can skip this one. Yeah, I think we've already covered that. And he actually wrote a good post about him justifying himself too much. If you guys get a chance to read DAC Attack's expression post, it's a great expression post, especially for new students. It talks about justifying yourself unnecessarily. Justifying yourself to hide your dysfunctional behavior, put it that way. Okay, next topic. So many people walking by each other on trails and never. Oh, okay. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I recently went to Utah to Zion National Park. It's beautiful up there. Huge mountains, maple trees. It's just gorgeous out there. And we'd walk along trails. And this happens not even in the mountains, but I'll be running someplace. I like to run in a certain woodsy area where it's got trees and forests and things like that. And I'll be running by a guy who's running the opposite direction. Or in this case, I was walking on a trail. You're passing a lot of hikers as you're climbing in these trails. And what happens? Maybe you'll get a nod or a hello, but a lot of times, nothing. No greeting. No nothing.
Yeah.
Complete lack of social skills. You should be able to walk down a street, in a town, in a city, and socialize with everybody you meet. Why can't you do that? Because the city itself is very dysfunctional. It's creating dysfunctional social expectations where it's weird if you talk to people. Isn't it weird? Won't people think, hey, if you stop and go, hey, my name's Michael, how's it going? Or I just came back from the fair. I went on this ride. It was really cool. What have you been up to? Would people think you're weird if you did that? If they're a total stranger?
Yeah. Yes, they would.
Yes, because we have very dysfunctional social expectations. You're not supposed to do those things. When actually the reality is people want you to do those things. Do you realize that? People want you to come up with them and share your life with them, even though you're a complete stranger. People want that. But the social expectation, the overriding social expectation in the air is, don't do that. That's weird. That's bizarre. That's strange behavior. So people are following the social expectation when in reality, they actually appreciate it when you share with them. The needs of the people always override the social expectation. So for example, I know that people's ultimate need is to socialize, to be open with each other. This overrides that social expectation in the air where you shouldn't be talking to somebody, a stranger, that you've never met before. So if I'm at a bus stop or I'm walking down the street and meet somebody, I might start sharing my life with them. And initially, I know they might think, oh, this is weird. A total stranger is talking to me. But because I know their need is greater than the social expectation, no matter how great the social expectation is, I know they're going to respond to me initiating a conversation with them. So, Mr. Care Bear Stare is with me at a bus stop. Hey, Mr. Care Bear Stare.
Yo.
Hey, I'm Professor Plum. I like your hat. It's very cool.
Yeah, I bought it for $20.
No, you're like, who are you? Why are you talking to me? You're a stranger.
Yeah, who the fuck are you, man?
I wanted to introduce myself because we're hanging out here, and I thought it'd be cool to kind of get to know about you. You seem like I don't know if you seem like an interesting guy or not. To tell the truth, you seem like a boring guy. But I figure there's something about you that would be interesting to talk about, or that would meet both of our social needs. So I thought I'd talk to you. Look it, I don't know where you're from, but I hear you have an Indian accent. It sounds really cool. What part of India are you from? So now he's
Go away.
Yeah, go away. So he's following the overriding social expectation, but his need is for companionship. So if I give him enough incentive, he will open up and he will begin to enjoy the social interaction.
You know, speaking of like trails and running and all that, you know who's a great example of initiating? Dogs. Because when you're walking on trail or whatever, and you see, and somebody's walking a dog, they'll always try to fight the leash and try to say, "Hey, I want to come meet you. I want to do this and that with you." And it's very cute to see.
You can tell.
Compared to the co-owners.
You gave a perfect example, by the way, of something else. Here's how you know that people do want to initiate social interaction, and that the social expectation of not speaking to strangers is bullshit. A lot of times, people have a cold face. They have a cold face on.
Yeah.
It look like they want to hit you rather than talk to you.
Yeah.
But if you have a dog, all of a sudden they rush up to the dog and start petting the dog and talking to the dog like they're long lost buddies. Oh, hey, look at you, boy. Oh, look at you. You're a good guy. You're a good guy. When a second ago, they had a sour face on. Why? Because they want the social interaction. The dog is a pretense to socialize. The dog is a pretense. It's incentive. You have a cute dog? Oh, that's incentive. Now they want to open up. See? The need is there. It just needs to be brought out with the incentive. And sometimes the incentive is the pretense. For instance, if I said to DVP, "Hey DVP, my name is Mike. I just met you on the street," right? DVP might feel weird. He might want to socialize, but he'll feel weird because there's a social expectation. You can't just say your name and start talking to me. But if I go, "Hey DVP, I noticed you're wearing shoes, or you're wearing Nikes. Oh, I got the same pair back home." See, I've used the Nikes as a pretense to initiate a social interaction. So really the problem was the pretense, not that I didn't meet his need or didn't open up to him. It was that he needed a pretense because he's not socially skilled. A lot of people aren't socially skilled, so they require icebreakers, which are just pretenses for socializing. For instance, they need to think, oh, unless we have a common activity in mind, we can't talk. Or unless we're both at the same restaurant eating the same dish, or we happen to attend the same class, right? Let's say you see a person walking, you're on campus, and you see a student walking, you go, "Oh, that chick's hot." "Oh, but I can't talk to her because we're not in the same class." Wrong. You can talk to her. She is just socially unskilled, so she's going to maybe require a pretense to talk to her. It could be anything. You could just ask her the time. You could go, "Hey, you know what time it is?" She goes, "It's 3 o'clock. Oh, forget the time. I think you're absolutely gorgeous. I want to talk to you and find out what your name was and etc." Right? What was the reason I was talking to her? Asking the time. Did I really need the time? No. She needed the time. Why? Because she's socially unskilled. She just needs the pretense. I realize that, so my pretense doesn't even have to make sense. What does me liking her and wanting to talk to her have to do with the time? Nothing. I know this, so I could just go ahead and give her a stupid pretense. Like, I could ask her, "Hey, do you know where the administration building is?" And she'll point, "Oh, it's over there." "Oh, never mind. I want to talk to you, blah, blah, blah." I can just start talking to her. Segue right into talking, abruptly. Why? Because I know that all that's required is just a stupid pretense. Once you realize that, you'll realize you can talk to anybody for the stupidest of pretenses. They could be drinking a beer. You hate beer, but you want to talk to them. "Oh, look, you're drinking Heineken." "Oh, I hate Heineken, but I want to talk to you." What'd you say, DBP?
I said, now I understand the asking the time assignment in the section.
The asking the time assignment is not about asking the time. It's the only reason you can ask the time. You need to ask the time is to create a pretense to talk, and it's one of the simplest pretenses around. You don't have to think. You could be wearing a watch. You could be holding your cell phone. You could have a sundial. You could have a big clock over your head. It wouldn't fucking matter. You could still ask the time. It's a pretense. Okay, I think we've covered that one. Okay, reviewing the authority scale. Oh, this is going to take hours.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, everybody, we're on the authority scale. If you click on it, you'll see it pop up. And if you click on, you'll see in the very corner very lightly, there's a little plus magnifying glass. If you click on that, it should get even bigger.
Can you repeat where to click?
Okay.
You could just, what I did to make it viewable, just click.
I already downloaded that shit.
Oh, you could.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
hold
could. Let's see how you could.
For the new students, all you gotta do is just right-click, say View Image, and then zoom in, and you'll get a much better view. It's much clearer.
The zoom is at the top, very top left.
If you're using Chrome, you won't have that option. So what you could do is just you could click on the very top left-hand corner of the picture. You'll see a little, very faint magnifying glass. Click on that, and it'll magnify a little bit. And if you see in the corner again, in the very left-hand corner, you'll see a zoom button, and you click on it again, and it'll zoom even wider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then you could scroll around. If you drag your mouse over it, you could kind of scroll around. Or you could, if I'm using a Mac, I'm just using a Mac pad, I can scroll around with 2 fingers, and I can see the whole thing.
But you can't scroll sideways.
I'm going to do something simple. Hold on. I'm going to go to Imager. I'm going to upload this, so if you just want to click on this link to view it, you could click on this link. Hold on.
If you have like a mouse, just press the scroll thing, and then it turns into this thing where you can just drag the things.
Okay, we're going to make it simple for everybody. The authority. Scale. Okay. Upload.
I just read the Terminator one.
Oh, he shared his reaction. You see DBP doing something very good here. He just volunteered a reaction. Did anybody ask him about the Terminator? No. He volunteered his reaction. That is attractive. That is forming a relationship. That is giving incentive.
Wait, the Terminator.
He's at the very end. I'm going to post the link. Anybody that just wants to go directly to it, there it is at the.
Wow, get into it.
I just posted it.
Getting into relationships with Terminators at all costs.
Yes. Okay. So you'll note if you click on it, you'll see it small. If you
You're
double,
fucked if you get into a relationship.
hold on a second. If you click on the picture, it'll take you the link I posted. It'll take you to the picture, and then you can click on it again, and it'll get bigger, so you can actually read it. Okay, we'll start at the left-hand side. So I made a little chart to just kind of, it's not super accurate, but it just kind of gives me a gist of authority.
That's a crazy chart.
Of the people I think of when I go from left to right, as far as having no authority to having too much, or to exercising authority in a very bad way, that would be typified by a Terminator. Okay, so this is called the authority scale. So on the very left we have the power bottoms, which is a term for a gay guy who takes it. This is like the complete emo fag. When I think of like high school kids, the skin tight jeans, girls tell them anything, they'll do whatever girl says.
I met so many of these guys in high school. They're pathetic.
Come over at 3 a.m. and give me a 7-Up. Oh, no problem. I'll be right over. I'm not doing anything. Worrying about whether girls will like them. They'll actively. These are the type of guys who will fight against getting their balls back. They'll think it's a good idea to be emasculated. They like their emasculation. They like being puppies to girls. So they will, if you tell them, hey, you shouldn't be acting like such a little bitch and doing whatever this girl tells you to do just because she tells you to do it. They'll say, no, that's wrong. You're being mean to her. You need to be nice. So they'll fight against you.
What does emo mean?
It's just a term like,
Emotional?
It's an emotional term. It refers to like a guy who's like super emotional.
Those guys are super emotional. They like cut themselves because they can't manage themselves, things like that.
Yeah.
It's like a guy who's led around by his emotions. So if he's feeling sad, he's gonna feel super sad. If he's feeling happy, he's super happy. He's like a chick, basically. Chicks are led around by their emotions. Whereas in Manhood Academy, you're learning to do things in spite of how you feel. So you should be posting and making your schedule regardless of whether you're super happy or super sad. You're learning to become consistent. You're learning a skill. So you should be posting. This is just like school or just like work. You should be going to work whether you want to go to work or whether you don't want to go to work. You're a guy, you need to go to work. You need to practice honing your will to override your feelings. Whereas the emo guy would be just the opposite. He would only go to work if he feels good. So which means he's only going to work 2 days out of the year. He's only going to do things if he feels good about them. But he's going to follow his emotions around. He's going to be led around by his emotions. Instead of deciding what he's going to do, he's going to let his feelings dictate what he does. So he might wake up and go, oh, I feel so sad today. I'm not going to get out of bed. I'm not going to talk to anybody because I feel sad. Whereas if you realize, oh, I need to socialize, that's a need. Regardless of how I feel, I'm going to go call a friend. I'm going to go talk to somebody. I'm going to go post on Manhood Academy. I'm going to go start a relationship with a student at Manhood Academy. That's the opposite of the complete emo fag. Then next is the zero self-respect guy. This is what I think of when I see like a Seth Rogen movie where he's like the lovable loser. He's the nice guy in the relationship. He usually plays the retarded, self-hating white knight guys. When they use the term white knight, they mean guys who are like stuck in chivalry. They're like chivalrous. They think they should lay the coat down on the puddle for the woman. They should pay for all the dinners. They should open all the doors. These are guys who do things for girls to be considered nice, to get sex, but they never get anything in return. They're like the guys that end up in the friend zone.
And they pretend that they're doing all this nice behavior not for sex.
Yeah, I'm just a nice guy. Oh, this is just how I behave. No, they're not going to do this for a guy. They're doing this for a girl to get sex. So they're really dishonest. They're being dishonest about their intentions. Then there's the Indian guy, the loveless loser. IT tech support. Typical IT nerds. Jerking off, placing women on pedestals. These guys consider a life of humiliation by females to be a given. So like this Indian game show, this guy down at the bottom, he signed up for this game show to be humiliated by a woman. It's part of the game show. So it's just kind of par for the course.
Wait, that's part of it? He knew that from the beginning?
Yes, and the guy, you ever seen the famous video, How Can She Slap? It's on YouTube.
That's what I was saying. If he knew this from the beginning, why did he
Well,
slap her?
he reacted. But this is part of the game show. Part of the game show is being humiliated. I guess maybe he reacted because he wasn't expected to be physically slapped or assaulted, but part of the game show is being humiliated by this chick who's telling you you're an asshole, she's yelling at you, etc. If you're willing to sign up for a game show like that, you're definitely a emasculated guy living in an emasculated culture. India is a very emasculated culture.
Yeah, but I think that in the end, this guy though, he slapped her.
Yes.
That's the point. He should move up like 4.
He should move up for that slap, but the fact that he signed up for the game show puts him in this category.
Yeah.
There's no reason for any man to be on a game show where he's purposely humiliated by a woman. There's no call for a guy to be doing that. So if he's already signing up for that, even though he was a brave guy for slapping her back, but the fact that he signed up for this put himself in that position. So he's already emasculated from the start.
It was a positional disorder in the first place.
Positional disorder in the first place, exactly. So next up is the typical nerd dork guy. Oh, actually, another comment I want to make is Indian guys, they have like trains now where only women are allowed to ride on these trains. And there's a video on YouTube showing these women beating these men and kicking them out of the train. It's pretty sad. Then you got the typical nerd dork. I was going to call him a nork.
Professor?
A nork. Yes, sir. Who's this?
Can you post the link to where the women are?
No.
Yes, sir.
Big L, what's up?
Big L here.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Correct me if, they actually have the women-only trains in Japan as well.
No, they do?
I believe the culture itself, and the Japanese culture itself is also emasculated.
Yes.
they do.
They have a very emasculated culture in Japan.
They were the first country to basically have that shit.
Yeah, Japan is a very emasculated country.
Wow.
Let's see. The nerd dork. Jay Bruckerell, he's in all these fucking gay movies about the nice guy loser. Typically he's like in a movie with a super hot chick, and he's a total nice guy. And so this is kind of even deludes nice guys into thinking that they're just sweet enough, the hot girl will fall for them. She usually has like an asshole boyfriend. I hate this asshole. He's such a loser. And he's like the best friend of this hot chick. Oh yeah, well, maybe you should fall in love with me. I'm super sweet. And then at the end they fall in love. Oh, this is how we're supposed to behave. We're supposed to be these emasculated guys. We're super nice to hot chicks, and then they'll fall in love with us. Does that ever happen in real life?
No.
No.
Okay, so then there's the mangina. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. This guy is a picture of faggotry. He's in this movie that I would never recommend any guy see, 500 Days of Summer, where he gets humiliated by a girl he's dating and breaks up with her, and you're supposed to learn something from this.
Wait, what?
Just the trailer made me sick.
Yeah, if you see the trailer, you'll already vomit.
That's enough.
He hates his own gender. He defers to female opinions at every opportunity. So this is a guy, if you see 500 Days, you can see clips of it. He's like the typical hemming and hawing guy. He's like, well, whatever you like, and I,
Is he like that in real life or just in the movies?
I don't know. But you ever heard of guys like, they sound like Big L. They're very unsure. When somebody calls on them, he's like, I'm Big L. Well, you're talking to me? Very unsure of themselves. Very worried about what other people are thinking of them. So they have this neurotic behavior. Well, are you calling on me? I don't want to offend you. So this is that type of guy who is very worried still about meeting other people's expectations. He places everybody else's expectations above his own.
This reminds me, Steve Harvey has a movie coming out too.
Steve Harvey.
I'm dead serious.
Hold on, you're skipping ahead. We'll get to Harvey. Nice guy. Next is the nice guy, the typical nice guy. John Cusack is in a lot. I don't know if you ever seen John Cusack movies, but he's always like the fucking loser who is always pining after hot chicks and always either gets broken up with or cheated on. So he's mastered the nice guy role. That typifies most of his movie career. He's a nice guy.
The nice guy role has a lot of contestants.
Yeah, it has a lot of people play the nice guy role, so they've seen movies with the nice guy in them.
Everybody's fighting for that role.
Yes, everybody's fighting. Then there's the feminist advocate. This is like a lot of our leaders in government. Guys like Joe Biden who penned the Violence Against Women Act. Forget about violence against people. It's specifically violence against women. So
Also, like when I see his speeches to women, like during one speech, he was like, he brought like a female friend of his and put his arm around her during a speech, and I couldn't help but think that he's thinking, look at how easy this is. All I have to do is talk about how strong women are and this and that, and then they'll vote for me.
Yeah. Well, this is the guy who is very emasculated in the sense that he's trying to push. Well, let me say that another way. These are the guys who advocate for feminism, who support like equality and equal rights. There's nothing wrong with treating women well. This is not the issue. It is that equality is used as a guise or as a pretense for special rights. They want to give women special rights. That's why it's the Violence Against Women Act. It's not the Violence Against People Act. So another example is Obama. He created a special counsel for women and girls, even though girls and women are graduating from college at higher rates than men. So he is focused on women at the expense of men. And you can see that's why we have men today who are so emasculated, because we have emasculated leaders like Obama and like Biden. These are the types of guys who are perpetuating feminism.
Isn't it also a problem because women are voting in the first place?
They shouldn't be voting. It's just like having kids vote.
Yeah, so that's what happens. You get leaders like this. Women vote based on feel-good methods. Whatever makes them feel good.
Yeah, women vote based on which candidate looks good. Yeah. They vote on these superficial factors.
It's like a high school popularity.
It is. It essentially is. This is why it's dangerous. If you want to know why letting women vote is dangerous, all you have to do is watch American Idol.
Yes.
This is the epitome of female voting. It's a popularity contest. You notice some of the most popular shows that are supported by women have to do with voting, like Survivor. It's not based on anything they do to merit anything. You notice the thing, when I first watched Survivor, it was the first time reality show came out. It's kind of interesting premise. But you realize quickly, when people get voted off the island, they get voted off because they're not popular. That's the only reason they get voted off. It's a popularity contest. So women are not concerned with your skills or what you can do. They're worried about how you make them feel. If you make them feel good, they want to vote for you. If they make them feel bad, they're not going to vote for you, which means if you give them their way, if you give them a pony and a piece of chocolate cake and $100, they're going to vote for you. They don't care about what your policies are. So this is a very childish approach to life. This is why women should not be voting. Female apologist, Steve Harvey. A guy who...
this fucking guy.
Yeah, this fucking guy.
I'm actually watching Family Feud right
I've
now.
seen so many interviews with him. Like, I've seen him interview on Tyra. This motherfucker, he just, like, his interviews are just painful to watch.
Act like a lady, think like a man. He's the guy who advises women how to take advantage of men. He's the guy who will tell a woman how to train a man, etc. So he is a female apologist. He's trying to put women in charge of men. Feminist pawn, Dr. Phil. Scolds men. I don't know if you ever caught Dr. Phil and Oprah on TV. He's the guy always berating men. Why are you such a cheater? Why are you not taking care of the woman, etc. Not realizing that he is part of the problem.
Yeah, he dismisses female behavior too.
Yeah, he totally excuses women who behave like bitches, who are hypocritical, who are demanding. He'll put all the blame on the man.
I used to watch him every day after school. My mom would sit me down and make me watch him every day. At 2:45, I'd come in, and it was always the same format. A couple comes in, he blames the guy, and then he lets the woman off or whatever.
Yeah, you'll notice the common theme in any of these relationship shows, especially like Dr. Drew, our next Mangina, is they always blame the men in the relationships. You'll see it lopsided, like 99% man's fault, 1% the woman's fault. If you see any of these relationship shows, you could place bets. If you're betting in Vegas, you should bet against the man in any of these relationship shows. It'll always be the man's fault.
Yeah,
especially
and they're not gonna hold the girl accountable.
Yeah, a girl could choose a guy who's a total asshole or is cheating on her or this and that, and it's always, why is the man bad to you? It's never, why did you choose this man? You're the one who chose him. You chose to be with him. That's never taken into account. It's always, this guy is treating you this way, therefore you're the professional victim and the man is the professional perpetrator.
And the irony about that is that what you just mentioned about holding them accountable to who they choose, they always do that with men. Every chance they get, every time they're talking about like male DV or something, they always say, why is this guy choosing to be with a violent chick?
Yes.
They always make that excuse, but they never do it for the chicks.
So they're always going to basically place all the accountability on the man's shoulders. Next, you got the pussy whip guy. This is like the guys who are dating chicks and doing whatever they say. Ronnie from Jersey Shore typifies this type of guy who is emasculated. These guys always like to dominate other men, but they will get dominated by women.
Like his relationship with Sammy, whatever that bitch's name is so pathetic. like, for example, I remember one episode, they were just, like, joking around, and then he says one thing wrong. Like, he says something about her feet that offended her, and then it ends up in, like, this violent conflict the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And
So
it
the
just
point.
shows how
Okay,
long
DVP,
those
slow down. I want to get through this list before tomorrow. Okay, so he's the type of guy who's he's very deferential to the woman. Whatever the woman wants, that's what she gets. And his ideas of masculinity is dominating other men. This is the epitome of a pussy whip guy. Next, we got the incompetent male mentors, guys in the seduction community, guys that are trying to teach guys how to pick up women. These types of guys are just, they're teaching men how to become emasculated and adapt to the problem of feminism. They're not solving the problem. Then next, you have guys with, they're starting to pick up on the problem here. This is the cowardly men's activists. These are the guys who, they still reinforce feminism, but in a sense, they're starting to uncover the problem. And same with guys like Mark Ruda, who are male advocates, but still let women browbeat them. And you'll see a video I posted or actually in the upcoming video, you'll see Mark Ruda getting his ass handed to him by a woman. And he's supposedly a guy who's trying to teach. He's written the book, The No Nonsense Man, or something like that. And he's basically touting himself as like, hey, be like me. I'm a guy who stands up to women. When you see in the video, which I'll be posting soon, you'll see an emasculated guy pretending to be a man.
So the book is nonsense.
Yes, it's nonsense. Well, it has some good themes in it, but practically speaking, if you see this guy in person, you realize this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's still being pussy whipped by a woman, or he's still being browbeat by a woman. He's still being handled by a woman.
Yeah, I was arguing with him on Facebook once.
Great. Sexually frustrated guys. Next category. Adam Carolla typifies this.
Professor,
Yes. Who's this?
Big L.
Big L, what's up? Big L.
Oh, Big L here.
Yes, what's up?
So Mark Rudolph has this shit on paper, as in he's got the blueprints and all, but
No, he doesn't
Big
have the
L here.
blueprints. His blueprints
So Mark
are
Rudolph is the kind of guy who just has all of the blueprints.
no.
No.
He has a kind of a semblance of masculinity. In a sense, he knows some things they shouldn't be doing. For instance, he wrote this article about why men shouldn't pay for Valentine's Day. So he has like generally principles of men should stand up for themselves, but in actual practice, he doesn't know how to get his expectations met. So it really is an emasculated method masked by a sense of masculinity, because in a sense he's still saying stand up to women, but ultimately he's not able to get his expectations met with women, so it's still an emasculated view. So for instance, like if you realize
so
women...
he has this shit generally, but
let's put it this way, look. For instance, he realizes that men and women are now making the same amount of money, where women are actually, coming up in the workforce. So there's no reason for a man to be paying for a woman on a date. So he realizes this injustice. So he'll harp on the injustice and say, here, you're a man if you demand that a woman pay for her share of the meal. So in a sense, he's seeing the inequality. He's speaking about the inequality, but ultimately he's not seeing that men should be in charge of women. He's not able to exercise authority over women. So ultimately, he's emasculated.
Oh. So he only adapts to feminism.
Yes, he's adapting to it. Then you got sexually frustrated guys.
So on the outside, it seems that he looks like he has.
Got it.
In the end, he doesn't.
Okay, so next we got... we will get past this category. Sexually frustrated guys, typified by like Adam Carolla. Sexually frustrated male. He always complains. I don't know if you ever heard any of his radio shows or talk shows. He's got a podcast right now. And he always complains about his wife telling him what to do, or his wife treating him badly. But he doesn't realize he's the problem. And the problem is he touts himself as another masculine guy. This is how you should act. This is how you should behave. He's giving a relationship advice when he is the last person to be giving a relationship advice. He is pussy whipped by his wife. I should take that back. He's not pussy whipped by his wife, but again, he's another guy who can't get his expectations met. He can't get his wife to do things.
Yeah.
So he is ultimately an emasculated guy. Then we get into violent retribution. We get into Chris Brown territory. This is a guy who's had it. He's like, yo, bitch, I ain't taking that shit anymore. And boom, punch you in the face, knock your teeth out. So he also doesn't know how to get his expectations met with women, because he doesn't address the little things. He lets them build up. So he becomes so frustrated. He's like the judge. I don't know if you ever seen this recent video of this judge posted where he's spanking a 16-year-old daughter. If you're spanking your 16-year-old daughter, you're doing something wrong, because you should have spanked her earlier on. You should have addressed violations of your authority early on, so that when she gets to that age, she should already respect your authority. So what is happening is he's having an explosion of emotion, of frustration, of resentment. It's all coming out in violence, in violent behavior, because he hasn't been able to get the woman to meet his expectations in the beginning. He hasn't addressed violations. If you don't address violations early on in a relationship, there will be resentment built up in you. There will be frustration built up in you. You will lash out. You ever heard a violent rant from coming up? What was
Mel
it?
Gibson? Yeah.
No, by coming up by our buddy Batman, Christian Bale.
Oh, this guy.
Another guy, Mel Gibson, and them kind of fall in the same category almost. They're like they're standing up to women in the sense that they're like Chris Brown, violent retribution. You ever heard Christian Bale rant? It's pretty famous on YouTube. He snaps at a guy while he's filming.
Go ahead.
He's filming a movie, and some guy walks in the frame or does something while he's filming, and he just goes off and he snaps. And you can hear in his voice all the frustration built up, all the violations of his authority finally being addressed in one chaotic fireball. If this is happening to you, this is an indication your authority is dysfunctional. You're letting violations of your authority occur. If you had addressed the guy who was violating your authority the first time and not let him slide on the violation, you wouldn't be having this blow up. You wouldn't be having this super frustrated blow up. So when you hear guys like this that explode in a fit of anger, you could see a guy who is not getting his expectations met.
I don't know if any of you guys have heard the Mel Gibson tapes, but they are pretty fucking scary. You can just hear, it's just like...
when he's talking to his girlfriend, yeah, it's basically along the same lines of a guy who is very frustrated with a woman and is exploding and letting his anger do the talking. Instead of enforcing his expectations, he's a passive-aggressive guy complaining about the woman, whining about the woman, and ultimately beating the woman.
Anger doing the talking is the wrong way to do it.
Yes, there you go. So
all the time.
next we got the aggressive male advocate, typified by guys like Tom Likas. They campaign against the hypocrisy of women, entitled by feminism. But because they fail to understand how relationships work, they don't know how to ultimately exercise their authority. Again, fall in the same category. Oh, here we come to the bitch regulator, Sean Connery. One of the guys who we use to typify the type of man who, I don't want to say the type of man you should be, but I like to highlight some of the instances where he is enforcing his expectations. A lot of times in Bond movies, you'll see him slap the girl on the ass or handle a girl who is violating his expectations very roughly.
Yeah.
This is not to say we're advocating, bitch slapping a girl, but you can see that he's not taking shit from a woman. That is the point we want to get across. That's the point we want to stress. He's very authoritative in his relationship. For instance, he's being interviewed by Barbara Walters, and Barbara says, "You said in an interview before that it's a bad thing. You should slap a woman. It's okay to slap a woman." And Barbara says, "I didn't like that." And instead of
Car's like, "I haven't changed my opinion."
Yes,
I thought that was hilarious.
He just says, "Yeah, good for you, bitch. I haven't changed my opinion." He's not bending his expectations to meet the expectations of a woman. This
She
typifies.
tried to shame him.
Yes.
I didn't like that.
She's trying to shame him, but he doesn't respond to that. Now, he didn't respond in the best way. He should have addressed her dysfunctional expectation of shaming. He should have said, you shouldn't be talking to me like that. This is wrong with what you're saying. So he's not addressing the dysfunctional expectation first before he introduces his expectation.
The condescending attitude?
Yes.
Yeah,
He
she
needs to
was
address
like
the condescending attitude before he starts stating his expectation.
So
that's
you
what-
actually recommend watching all those Bond movies?
No, you're not going to learn anything from Bond movies, but you're going to see something shocking. If you watch Bond movie, you watch movies today. Kids haven't watched Bond movies back in the day, but if you watch movies today and you watch James Bond, played by who
Sean
played?
Connery.
No,
Craig. And
Craig.
Beyond.
That new guy.
Well, what's the...
Greg Daniels.
Craig Daniels. Was it Daniels?
Yeah, Daniels must be. I think so.
I don't know his name, but that new guy,
Nielsen or something.
the new guy who's playing Bond right now currently, he's like the new type of Bond, But if people thought that was Bond and then they went back to like a 60s or 70s movie of the original James Bond with Sean Connery, they'd be shocked because they wouldn't be able to show those types of movies in theaters. You see women getting slapped, you see them getting smacked on the ass, you see them choking out bitches. I mean, there's a clip you can watch on YouTube that has just clips of James Bond, and you'll see behavior that would shock you today.
Yeah, look at broads getting slapped or something.
Yeah, something like that. You would see his video of
The
him.
golden age of bitch slapping.
It's called the golden age of bitch slapping. You'll see a lot of Bond in there. So you could see that type of attitude where men stood up to women. This is the type of attitude you want to have. We're not harping on the violent methods like, smacking chicks or punching them out. That's not the issue. We're talking about guys who are standing up to bitch behavior. That is what we want to stress with this. Then we're going past. Now we're going past functional authority. We're getting into dysfunctional territory. These are guys who are exercising too much authority or are creating dysfunctional relationships, typified by like Wilt Chamberlain, the selfish player, banging at chicks left and right in the NBA. Then we got sexual exploiters like pimps, who are taking advantage of women and pimping them out on the street. Then you got selfish leaders who are promoting not the group concept. Yeah, again, if you have authority, this is for meeting people's needs. Your authority is ultimately for meeting others' needs, for meeting everybody's needs in the relationship. If you're not meeting everybody's needs, you're only meeting your own needs, you're using that authority dysfunctionally. Eventually, your relationships will break down. Classic example, Hitler, destructive dictator. He got the trains to run on time, his society, very orderly, outwardly, but ultimately very destructive because he is not meeting people's needs. He is violating people's needs. So it looks like a very orderly society on the outside. So on one hand, he is very good with his authority, but because he's not ultimately meeting people's needs, ultimately the society suffers, the relationships suffer, and as you know the story of World War II, society breaks down.
Yeah. Well, even America looks organized from the outside. All the roads and all are big and,
Yes. You look at America, you go, oh, very orderly roads, a lot of technology, looks like a very civilized society, but slowly you see all the internal problems. Why do we have so many crazy serial killers? Why do we have so many violent gangs? All these things are typified. Why is the divorce rate so high? All these are signs that things are just good on the surface. But underneath, you can see a lot of problems with authority. Especially in classrooms, there's so many videos. When I was making this movie, the second movie I'm making, which is basically covering how to manage your expectations, real life conversations with people. You'll see, or when I was doing research on this, I looked at a lot of classroom videos, and so many teachers are so fucking terrible running their classrooms. The students basically run the classroom because they know that if they try to enforce their authority in the classroom, they'll get a lawsuit, they'll lose their job. So we see all these problems. The reason why our educational system is so terrible is because our teachers don't have authority and they don't know how to exercise that authority. And feminist laws take away that authority from the teacher, take away that authority from the leaders. And then we get into silly territory with serial killers, just basically self-motivated, damage all the relationships, they eat people. And then we get into Terminators who are very dangerous with their authority.
Yeah, I was thinking the section.
He is a Terminator.
He doesn't have emotion.
Terminator. Hold on, let me see. Why did I put the Forrest Gump here? A Terminator doesn't care about you. It can't be bargained with. His authority is ultimate. He will not care about your needs. Can't be pitied, reasoned with. Absolutely will not stop until you're dead. Avoid getting to relationships. Oh, I think I put the Gump because he's running away from the Terminator.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Forrest Gump doesn't typify a Terminator. He's not a Terminator underneath. He's just running from the Terminator.
But I mean, he's kind of mentally
misleading.
He's like retarded. He has no idea what needs are, so he's like.
It's a misleading graphic. Thank you.
Okay.
I thought he was a Terminator because he's like a machine running away from that car, like feelings just like bullshit.
No, some of these graphics are in my head. I understand the concept in my head, like you're running away from the Terminator, but when you think about it later, maybe people won't understand what's going on in your head. So,
well, especially when you use Forrest Gump because he is, like a machine himself.
Yes.
The Cowardly Lion is the best graphic for sure.
I don't know what you would put on there, but some guy to illustrate the Terminator.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so that's the authority scale.
You could put Run under Forrest.
Forrest Gump. Okay, so
Run,
Forrest, run!
Run, Forrest, run!
Run, Forrest. Okay, so we're done with that one. I could click off that one. I can delete that topic. I think we got time for one more. Let's see here. Next one is Blue. Let's see.
Yes. Or McBoglin.
Blue. Today, Plum had a mini lecture on chat about creating incentive to build a relationship. For example, we should always look out for visitors and acknowledge new students. Hint, hint. If someone has a question, you shouldn't ignore it. Hint, hint. This means you're failing. This means you're failing to direct a relationship to meet your needs. So if new students come in and you go, fuck that new student, I'm not responsible for him. He's responsible for his own learning. What's wrong with that view?
You're neglecting your need to create a relationship.
Because if you're not responsible for his learning and he fucks up, guess what? He's going to become a future serial killer and he's going to eat your future girlfriend. Because you sat by passively and said, I'm not responsible for that guy. I'm not responsible for that new student. I'm a new student here myself. Why the fuck should I care what his question is? Or why should I even talk to that guy? I'm here to learn myself and learn how to meet my expectations, and my life will never be affected by his life. Wrong. You don't know how relationships work. You haven't read the end of the ebook with a little spider.
Yeah, same thing will then overlay into when you're trying to create friends outside, you just expect other people to take initiative.
Yes. You are not the spider. The spider realizes relationships are like a web. When you're a relationship, you're one strand in the web. What happens if you rip that strand out of the web? Just your relationship is affected?
A whole bunch of Blue came online.
Just your relationship is affected? No.
Like 4 or 5 others.
No, the whole thing.
Yes, everybody in your community.
The whole web.
If you get a divorce, guess what happens? Your buddies who are on your side and the buddies that are against you on the other side, all of a sudden it becomes a battle. You created a battle within your family. The people that like your wife battle against you. The people that like you battle against those that don't like your wife. You've created all kinds of problems with your relationship exploding.
Indian style.
You went Indian style. So never think that just because you don't know somebody, that their relationship is irrelevant to you. Let me ask you a quiz. I'm going to give you a quiz right now. Big L. Big sleepy guy. Okay? I'm going to quiz
Yes.
Jar. Are you there, Big L? Big L, are you downloading porn? What the fuck?
I think he's got a huge latency.
All
That's
right,
why he's
yeah.
responding late.
I'm ready
Hey.
for the quiz.
Big L, do you have a delay?
No.
What were you doing? Big L,
No.
what are you doing?
Oh, I just laid down.
Okay.
I lied down.
All right, you can lay down outside of class. You're gone. All right, Jar,
Yeah,
are you awake?
I am awake.
Thank God.
I hear
Chris, are you
huge
awake?
echo.
I'm awake.
Hibernia, you awake? Hibernia,
I'm awake, yeah.
are you snoozing over there, Hibernia?
No, I thought you called somebody else.
Okay, I got a question for you. I got a quiz for you.
Okay.
Which relationships in your
Yeah.
community, Hibernia, which relationships in your community, why is Big L back on? I just hung up on you. You're out of class. Which relationships in your community are relevant to you?
Family and friends.
Wrong answer. Okay, I'm going to ask next person. Mr. Care Bear Stare, are you awake?
Yes.
You better be awake. Which relationships in your community are relevant to you?
Every relationship.
Every single relationship, even the people you don't know.
Yes.
Guess who I'm going to form a relationship with right now?
With me.
No?
Blue.
With Blue. He's going to catch the very last 5 minutes of class.
Okay.
All right, Blue, you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready for the last 5 minutes of class?
That's it. How was that work?
Ironically, we're on your post right now.
Okay.
In the podcasting section, you asked, Plum had a mini lecture on chat about creating incentive to build relationships. For example, we should always look out for visitors and acknowledge new students. Blue, I'm going to ask you a question. This is a part of a quiz.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
In your community, which relationships are relevant to you?
My family, my friends, my
Wrong answer. You'll have to listen to the podcast to find out the right answer. Okay. Plum also mentioned that when we think of relationships, we need to see the long-term picture. Just because someone annoys you doesn't mean that person can't meet your needs in the future. Yes. Most of you guys are annoying and dysfunctional. You will realize very quickly when you're talking to new students, this guy's a fucking asshole. Or this guy's too nerdy. Or this guy's too quiet. This guy's too shy. This guy's too this. This guy's too that. You're going to notice that with new students, and your tendency is going to be to say, fuck it. I don't want to be in a relationship with this guy. I'm here to learn how to be in a relationship. Why do I need to talk to this dysfunctional loser? Guess what?
More fun, guys.
You are the dysfunctional loser. You are the guy causing problems. You are one of those guys. Do not think the other students are these special cases and trapezoid guy, you're perfect. No. Trapezoid guy, you are one of these guys.
I suck.
You are one of these shy, quiet losers. So it is in your interest, your best interest, to shape the behavior of the students you don't like, especially the students you don't like. The students you have things in common with, great. But you should be focused on the students who are causing you the most problems. You should be focused on the bogglers. You should be focused on shaping their behavior. The students who post bullshit entries, who post information entries, just conveying dead information, static information. You should be focused on Hibernia and his dead information post. You should be telling him, Hibernia, I want to learn about you. You need to put yourself into this entry and talk about your personal reactions to things, not just conveying what happened to you.
So, if everybody focused on removing dishonor in the academy, that would be a much better place.
Yes, you would be having a much more enjoyable time. This would foster you having even more enjoyment. You would want to talk to more students. You would hear more chat clicking in the chat room. You would see even more posts. You don't realize this yet. That's why you're not posting. You just think, oh, I just need to post myself and just take care of my own thing, and then the academy will be fine. No, you are a strand in the academy web. What you do affects the entire academy. When Big L is sleeping like a fuck in class, he is affecting the entire class.
Yes.
You guys, as students, need to work with Big L and go, stop fucking sleeping in class. Pay attention in class. You guys need to give Big L his soap party, which if you ever saw Full Metal Jacket, you know what I'm talking about. No, I'm being a little overkill here. What I mean to say is, When you have students who are causing you problems or violating your expectations, those are the relationships you need to work on. Those are the most crucial ones to you. Not the ones where everything's going honky-dory and you guys are all on the same page. Practice getting your expectations met. Okay, so Plum mentioned that blah, blah, blah. We need to see the long-term picture, the big picture. Just because someone annoys you doesn't mean that person can't meet your needs in the future. When you can direct the new guy's behavior and shape it to fit a relationship, then guess what? Both of you get the benefit. Yes. Even if you suck at chatting, it doesn't mean the other person who's a pro at chatting doesn't need you. They do need you. Everyone gets lonely and everyone wants human contact one way or the other. Keep up the chatting. This is especially true for the chat room. A lot of times you guys will sit back passively in the chat room. You'll want to chat. You'll want to say something, but you're thinking too much about, I hope everybody likes me. I hope I don't say something stupid in the chat room. I need to think of something super funny in the chat room. If I don't think of a funny joke, if I'm not Big L and clowning around, people won't like me. If I'm not Torero telling funny clown jokes, people won't think I graduated from clown school. Wrong. You need to practice opening up, sharing your reactions. If you suck at chatting and you see Professor Plum, the instructor in the chat room, chatting and having a good time, that doesn't mean you should sit back idly and say, hey, Professor Plum, stimulate me. No, even I need you to respond. I could chat and stimulate the entire chat room for an hour without anybody responding. But guess what? I am human, which means I have the same needs as you. Even if I can do it, doesn't mean I'm happy doing it.
So eventually it'll get you?
Yes, eventually I'll be like, why the fuck am I talking to myself? I'm out of here. So you need to realize I have needs. Just as much as you have needs, I have needs. I need you to respond in the chat room. If you're not clicking, if the chat room isn't popping, guess what? I'm not fucking happy. If I don't show up to the Manhood Academy and immediately hear popping sounds, I am not happy. You realize that? I'm not happy. If there's no popping sounds, my needs aren't being met. If I'm the only one making popping sounds, my needs aren't being met. If only 2 students are talking in the chat room and there's 10 students in there and most of them aren't working on their EM reports or anything in the academy, they're just watching the chat room screen and not typing anything, my needs are not being met. My expectations are being violated. You are violating me.
Mm-hmm. But there's a problem.
What's the problem?
The problem is that you aren't sure if the other person is online too. Like, you see their name and you write something, but you don't get an answer back. So you feel like a retard.
So you feel like a retard, okay? So
Yeah.
What's the key word in that sentence?
Feel.
You are a retard?
Mr. Care Bear, what's the key word in that sentence?
Feeling.
Feel. Why is that the key word?
Because that is a reaction.
That is dictating your what? Mr. Care
I don't
Bear,
know.
what are your
I
feelings
don't-
dictating?
The feeling is dictating my...
Your
I don't know.
behavior.
I'm not familiar with that.
You are the sad emo guy crying in the corner because you feel bad because nobody is saying anything to you.
Yeah, I mean...
Your social competence is now based on how you feel. So if if you say, hey, Jar, and you don't know whether Jar's typing an EM report or just Jar doesn't want to type for whatever reason, he's downloading porn or something, and you say, hey, Jar, and you say, Jar, I'm talking to you, and Jar doesn't respond, now you go into sad emo mode. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm never typing it in the chat room. Now what happened to you?
And sometimes from sad to angry mode too.
Now what happened to you, Mr. Care Bear?
Yeah, I don't want to talk anymore.
Yes.
I mean...
So you're not training. You are reacting. You are not training. You are reacting. Manhood Academy is for you to train, not to react. If I said, hey, you're going to learn social competence by just reacting to what happens, you wouldn't learn a fucking thing. You would be so sad. You'd be so disoriented. You would be so weirded out. You would just not type. You would leave eventually. That's not training. Training is doing what you don't feel like doing. Training is doing what you don't feel like doing.
Stepping out of the comfortable zone.
Training is waking up out of your nice, cozy bed and going to a cold math class and learning how to add. That's training. Training is talking to a student you don't know in the chat room. Training is talking to a group full of people who are having a good time and you just burst in and say, hey, I just got back from yoga. I had an awesome time because I talked to this person over there and we talked about this and that, and I think this about them, and I thought this about them, and here's my reaction to that. Sharing and volunteering your reaction. And other people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're talking about cars right now. Well, guess what? You want to talk about your experience. You need to train. You need to value your expectation. You need to value your yoga experience. So I'm in the chat room right now, and Bogler's talking about there's 16 viewers on now. He's just making an observation, right? He's not sharing any, he's just sharing information.
Yeah.
And I say, Bogler, I don't care about 16 viewers, I'm typing slow, being in the chat room. I care about my puppy. Whee! Right? I'm caring about my expectation. Look how many exclamation points I use. That's ridiculous, right? People are going, what are you? And then let's see. Bogler types, what are you, a 16-year-old girl?
Oh shit, Trapezoid guy is promoting the academy.
Super. Okay, so hold on a second. Bogler, you type, what are you, a 16-year-old girl? Right? And I read that in the chat room, and then what do I think? Care Bear stare. What do I think?
You are disheartened.
I am disheartened. What happened? What happened to me?
You are crying.
Why? I feel bad.
You are not leading. You are just reacting to.
I am reacting.
Bogler
I'm a
saying.
chick.
Yeah.
I'm letting you dictate how I behave. I'm a chick. I'm passive now. I'm sad. Oh, I can't type anymore. No. I'm a guy. See, I type no. No. More exclamation points. I love my puppies. I fucking dominate the chat room. See, why did I just dominate the chat room now? Because I use my balls to say my expectations matter. I am shaping the conversation the way I want it to go.
So, Plum,
Yes, who is this?
when all of us eventually get balls, and we're discussing something, will the conversation kind of come together to what
Well, then, when you all have balls, let's say theoretically we're all graduated from Manhood Academy, then we'll be like Trapezoid Guy. We'll start listening. The next step to conversation is listening. You get balls and you can start typing nonsense, great. But you're not meeting people's needs. You're only meeting your own needs to express yourself. What happens next when you get to a higher level of maturity? You start listening to the conversation. You start meeting people's needs in the conversation. So let's say Bogler's sad. He just lost his hamster. His hamster died. His hamster died and he's mourning. Trapezoid Guy.
Yes, sir.
You just graduated from Manhood Academy and it's your birthday. So you're super happy. Woo! You had a happy birthday, right?
Yeah, I had a great time.
So you type in the chat room what? You type, it's my type, it's your birthday. Woo! With exclamation points. Fuck.
Okay, we'll get
It's your birthday, get happy. Woo! Woo! Okay, but then Boggles types, but I'm sad, I lost my hamster.
People are so confused.
Don't worry about them. They're not in the fucking chat, or they're not in the class right now. So, motherfucking Boggles. Boggles, are you paying attention?
Oh, yeah.
No, you're not paying attention. Pay fucking attention when I tell you to type.
Okay. What do you want me to type?
You asshole. Okay, let's find somebody who's paying attention. Jar, are you paying attention?
I'm paying attention.
Yeah, hold on. Boggles needs to leave class. Boom. Hey, yo. Jar, are you paying attention?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you lost your hamster. Your hamster died. So you type in the chat room, I'm sad I lost my hamster. Yeah, Care Bear stare. He's all motherfucking Boggles. I lost my hamster. I'm so sad. So now that Trapezoid Guy has graduated from the academy, what is he going to type? Is he going to keep typing about his party, his birthday party? Woo! What is he going to do?
You're gonna acknowledge.
What's that?
I spoke out of turn.
Blue, go ahead.
He's going to acknowledge the other person
He's going to acknowledge the other person. Why is he going to acknowledge the other person?
because he's letting him know that he's listening.
No. Why is he going to acknowledge the other person? Trapezoid Guy, why are you going to acknowledge Jar and his dead hamster? Why?
Because I care about the relationship and I want to express myself and my point of view on that. And
No, you got it with the first sentence, but you blew it with the rest of it. Mr. Care Bear Stare,
Yes.
why does he want to acknowledge a dead hamster? Why does he want to acknowledge Jar's pain? Why does he want to acknowledge that?
Because he cares about their relationship.
Yes, we got that part. So ultimately, what? What is he doing? DBP.
he's meeting his needs.
He's meeting his needs. He's meeting his needs. Chris, you get that?
Yep.
He's meeting his needs. So when he graduates from Manhood Academy, his listening skills get activated. Now he cares about maintaining the relationship, not just expressing the fact that he has balls. I have balls, so I can talk about I'm having a party. It's my birthday. I love cats. Now he's not just talking about things that matter to him. Now he's caring for the relationship with the other students. So initially when you come here, it's going to be difficult for you to care about other students because you're so fucked up right now. You're sad yourself. Everybody's hamster here is dead. So we can't comfort each other, right? So right now we're learning how to get past that and to train despite our feelings. Once we start getting a little confidence, it's time to start practicing meeting other people's needs in the relationship. Because once we comfort, then let's see, Trapezoid guy, you're gonna type in the chat room, hey Jar. Oh, you already beat me to the punch. Sorry about your hamster. And then Jar's gonna respond what? Oh, I appreciate it. See, you guys are already ahead of me. I appreciate that. So what happened between Jar and Trapezoid guy?
In relationship.
Bromance. Right? Now, guess what happens when let's see, Trapezoid guy, you lost your job. Right? So 5 years down the road, he lost his shit, he's been fired. But Jar, since they have such a great relationship built up, because Trapezoid guy was caring for the relationship, Jar says he's gonna loan him $10,000 because Jar's a millionaire. Shit, that sucks. I'll loan you $10,000. Yes. See, why did that happen? Why did that happen, Chris? Chris?
Why that happened?
Yes, why did that happen?
Can you repeat the last
Now,
sentence?
motherfucker, are you paying attention? What are you doing over
Yeah,
there?
I actually did, but it was too fast.
Okay. So he typed that he lost his job. 5 years later, he lost his job, and Jar said, don't worry, I have $10,000 I'm going to loan you. Why did that happen?
So he was like feeling pity for him?
No. You're not going to just give $10,000 to a stranger. That's a hint. Who did he give $10,000 to?
Let's say
He gave $10,000 to who? Not a complete stranger. He gave it to Trapezoid guy. Why did he give it to him? They're in a relationship.
okay.
If he didn't take the time to form that relationship, he wouldn't be getting that $10,000. Jar would still be a stranger to him, and Trapezoid guy would still be fired. But because he formed a relationship with him, now he can get resources from that relationship. He can get support from that relationship. He can get benefits from that relationship. That relationship should be reciprocal in nature if it is a functional relationship.
So future expectations got met.
Yes. And it wasn't even an expectation. It was just the relationship took care of his needs. He didn't know he was going to be fired and he needed money. He didn't know that. He couldn't see the future. But because he's in a functional relationship, he gets support from that relationship. And in this case, it happens to be monetarily. Sometimes it might not be money. It might be, hey, bro, I feel you. Come over for a beer. Or, hey, let me help you get hired at my sister's company's hiring. You never know what type of resources are out there from a relationship. But you're going to get support from that relationship if you're doing what it takes to maintain that relationship.
Okay.
Hibernia, did you get that?
Yeah.
Good. Guten
Well,
Tag.
it's interesting that you brought that up because that is the exact situation I'm in, and because I've not maintained relationships, I don't have as many resources for finding work now.
Well, guess what? You now have students here at the Academy to start working on building relationships, learning how to build relationships with complete strangers. If I am in the chat room or if I just join on the Academy right now and there's no popping sounds, I'm sad. That means students aren't meeting my relationship. They're not practicing. They're not training. They're not meeting my expectations. So that means if they're chat popping, they're meeting my expectations. They're training. They're learning how to meet my expectations. They're forming a relationship with me. That makes me happy. That makes me want to benefit them. I'm happy. I want to make you happy. See that? That's the reciprocation in the relationship. That's what you guys need to work on at the Academy. Any questions?
Oh, I actually do have a question.
Motherfuckers weren't paying attention to anything I just said.
No, I paid attention.
How come you didn't respond?
Yeah,
Oh,
we didn't
So you
have
have
a
a
question.
question?
How come you didn't respond though? I said, anybody have any questions?
But I do
Okay,
have
fine.
How about saying, no,
So
my
now we
reaction
got it
is,
all.
no, I don't have any questions.
Yeah, I was thinking about a question, so
Well, you could have asked the question, but the point is, okay, let me ask you a question. Name me a person, Hibernia, what percentage of people did not have a reaction to what I said? What percentage of people?
100%.
Oh, 0%.
hey, that was a trick
Oh,
question.
sorry, did not. Sorry, 0%. Yeah.
Yes, 0%. So everybody had a reaction. Okay,
No, it was,
who didn't have a, Hibernia, did you have a reaction to what I said?
yeah, I was just waiting for somebody else to ask.
Yes, exactly. That's the problem. Chris, did you have a reaction to what I said? Yes, you did.
about-
DBP, did you have a reaction to what I said?
Yeah, I did.
Jar, did you have a reaction to what I said?
Yeah.
Mr. Care Bear Stare, did you have a reaction to what I said?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so everybody had a reaction. But what was the problem, Trapezoid Guy?
Nobody spoke up. and
Nobody
expressed a
volunteered. Nobody initiated. Nobody practiced initiating a social interaction with me. This is the problem. This is why you're here. You're here to train. You will fuck up. You just fucked up in class right now. Everybody here just fucked up in class right now. But
Well, maybe
you're
no
here.
one
I'm
did.
here to expect you. I'm here to expect these fuck ups. Go ahead, Hibernia.
Yeah, like I didn't react because I thought maybe somebody else had a question, so I was allowing somebody else time.
I don't care about your excuse. I expect you to practice reacting in class. This is a participation class. Your excuse does not apply here. And you say,
Okay, so
Hibernia. Motherfucker. And you say, okay, professor, my excuse doesn't apply here. Got it.
Let me buy you a pint.
Now you're getting it. See, you fucked up. Now you're learning. Any other questions before we end the podcast?
yeah,
Yes.
No, I don't have any.
Okay, good. Everybody's paying attention now. Good job. Okay, last question from Mr. Care Bear. Go ahead.
So the question is about the last topic. So in this scenario, we have two guys talking with each other,
Right?
right? So what I was talking about is that I type and no one responds. So how am I supposed to lead the conversation? from
Okay,
there? Am I
let's see
supposed
what
to-
happens. How are you supposed to do that? I think there's directions in this chat room somewhere.
Keep posting anyway.
Let me see. I think I need to refresh the page. Hold on. I think the directions will come if I refresh the page. And it go down to the bottom of the chat room, and it says, "Visitors, welcome.
Yeah.
Join us for our free weekend podcast classes on Skype. Students, are you a student, Mr. Care Bear?
Yes.
Are you
Yes,
sure?
I'm a student.
Okay, so
Yes.
let's see if you're following my expectations or violating them. 10 sentences. Read it for me. Go ahead. You're a student. You can read it.
Okay. 10 sentences. Minimum every time you enter the chat room. I don't care if your cat is on fire. Do it.
Okay.
well done.
Now, let me ask you.
Yes.
Are your feelings more important than the instructor's expectations?
No.
Okay, you didn't respond. Jar didn't respond. So what part of that instruction is covered by Jar didn't respond?
He's supposed to give his reaction.
No, what part of the directions there that you just read
Yeah.
cover the point of Jar not responding to you? Which directions there? There's a sentence there. Which one of those sentences covers it?
I don't care.
What?
I don't care if your cat is on fire.
Yes. I don't care if your cat is on fire. I don't care if Jar isn't talking. I don't care if you don't feel like talking. I don't care if nobody responds. What are you required to do? What is your
Just
responsibility?
do it.
Just
Do
do
it
it.
anyway.
Do it
10 sentences
anyway.
Minimum.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Anybody else have any other questions?
No.
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 that was a trick question. I think everybody just graduated. Good job. Okay, thank you guys. Awesome podcast. We'll see you next time.